www.newslaya.com.
First of all, welcome to our online portal, Newslaya.com. Both of you, Christian Shaw and then Ellen Pican.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
From when you are staying here?
In Italy?
In Itahari as well as in Nepal.
We arrived in Nepal in the beginning of August, and we plan to stay here for 3 months. We have a relationship with KEMSA, Kem Lekai, from Gate School, so we plan to work there and volunteer and teach the students for 1 month, and then we would see more of Nepal. And we were invited here to Premier Hotel School to give classes to the students. So we've been here for 1 week, and then we will return to Kathmandu before we see Western Nepal, Pokhara and a mountain range.
And in Itahari you are staying from a week ago. Yes. How long time will you stay in Itahari?
Just 1 week.
Just a few more days.
Few more days. Then how did you choose this country, especially Nepal?
We have been in relation with a French Nepalese man who know KEMSA and who proposed us to volunteer at Gate School for a few months and then travel in Nepal.
How do you like Nepal?
We love
very
Nepal.
nice.
Very beautiful, fantastic food. It's a really beautiful country.
What kind of people are here? How did you find?
Very nice.
Kind,
Very
friendly, open, and welcoming. Everywhere we've been, we feel very welcomed, warmly welcomed by everyone.
Okay, some of you were from France. Yes,
I'm from France.
Yes, and you are from London, UK. And especially, how did you meet together?
We met
Cyprus,
in Cyprus.
an island in Europe.
I have heard that both of you are in love, and yes, you are
Yes.
getting married also.
In the coming future?
Yeah, you have planned.
Yes.
Yes. Then, especially, what kinds of experience you have gained here in Nepal?
Because we work together in a hotel. Christian was working in the kitchen and I'm working in pastry. And so we decided to, after working, we decided to have a break and quit the hotel industry.
Yes.
And we decided to travel, but also to bring our knowledge about food and cooking to different countries.
Yes. To share our experience with other people and also learn about that. So it's a cultural exchange, not just one way.
What are the similarities and differences between your countries, especially, first of all, Ellen, and then similarities and differences between your country and Nepal? That food, especially you are...
France is very different for food because you have it's a small country like Nepal, but you have 26 regions, and in each region you have completely different food, and so you have thousands different dishes, hundreds of different kind of cheese. You have a really huge variety and a lot of different kinds of appetizer, a lot of different kinds of main courses and lots of kinds of desserts, and really more variety of different kinds of produce we use to cook.
In Nepal? Nepali food you have tried to cook also, yes?
We could,
Yes.
and we enjoyed it very much.
Okay. Comparison.
How to
It's
compare?
difficult to compare.
Yes.
Which one is
Nepali
easy to cook? And if you talk about health concern.
I think Nepali food, it's more similar. When you know one kind of curry, you can do every kind of curry. And you have less, you have different type of dish, but after, it's all the same. In France, it's really,
Very different.
I will never know every dishes from France. It's not possible.
And then you have tried to say that Nepalese food items, yes, we can easily cook from one kinds of steps.
Yes.
Yes and no. But especially French items, it is very difficult.
Yes, it's
Okay.
Yes. That's
In
quite.
your view.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what about your country?
My country, well, a lot of cooking and food comes from France and Europe. So we have a deep root of French cuisine. So on technical side, there's a lot of French techniques. And then ingredients, it's all about fresh produce and fresh meat and put together very simply. There's not a lot of use of spices, mainly because we don't produce any spices in England. We produce a few chilies, but that's about it. So it's a great difference in flavor because you have a lot of spices in Nepalese cooking. We don't have that at all. But it's similar in the sense that you just use fresh produce and you put together in a simple way. And the difference is there's a lot of different flavors going on, but they're both relatively easy to cook once you have the base and you know how to put everything together.
London, UK, that food also, it is easy to cook
Yes.
than Nepali food?
Not, I would say similar.
Similar.
Yeah. If you can cook,
Not more differences.
not more difficult.
Okay. Then the spicy, too much spicy, you have to...
Comparison, yes, we don't have any spices in England.
Okay, then if you talk about Nepalese food, you have tried to cook also, you
Yes.
are giving training also here in Nepal, yes?
Yes.
Then which food you have tried a lot? Which one would you like most? Nepalese, if you talk about it.
Well, yesterday we cooked mata paneer.
Matar paneer.
Yes.
Yes.
And we love
Momos, veg momos,
and veg momo
and aloo paratha,
and aloo paratha and dal, yellow
and
dal.
chapati,
And these things are our favorite.
and the yogurt.
Yes. These few dishes, the dal, the curry, and the flatbread is, I think, definitely our favorite things of Nepal.
And the yak cheese.
Yes. All of these things combined, we will take them home and remember them forever.
We like a little bit of everything.
Yes.
Okay, in this shortened time, you are too much busy also, yes?
Yes.
But you have provided us, yes, your time also, you have provided us some minutes, yes, for your talk. What things you want to do in Nepal, especially?
To do?
In Nepal. What kinds of things you want to do
Well, it was
that you love more to do in Nepal, especially?
to explore the country.
Yes, we want to
To
travel more. We didn't have the time yet
Yes.
to travel in Nepal, so we would like to go to the Annapurna and
The
do
mountain
a
range?
trek in...
Yes, because now we're traveling in all the different altitudes,
Okay,
and
then
it's also a cultural exchange of meeting the
And I
people.
would like to see yak.
okay. Then what about economic condition, especially for traveling and for expending money?
Yes.
Is it cheap or expensive in Nepal? Comparatively.
Food is very cheap,
Yes.
but accommodation is not cheap.
No. That's
Compared to the way of living here, I think accommodation is quite expensive.
Yes.
And like, for example, transportation is very cheap, buses, food very cheap, and drinks very cheap. But no, accommodation, and like, for example, we plan to do the trek in Annapurna, and it's very expensive.
Yes.
So some things are very cheap, and some things are very expensive.
Yes.
What kinds of suggestions you want to provide for Nepal government and Nepalese people from your side?
Like the government should help more because Nepal is a very poor country, but it's full of resources. The lands are very rich, and you are importing a lot of products, but you don't need to import. You could be sustainable, and you could even export. You don't need other countries, and so...
Such as what kinds of foods we should not have to export?
You
well,
can
for
you can
example,
produce all the fruits and vegetables, all the wheat, and all the spices. You can produce them.
and commodities as well, such as salt. Himalayan salt is very popular in Europe, but I hear that you don't use it at all in Nepal. You just purely export it because you can make more money. Things like that.
We went to a school, and the man he helped He's going to the villages and he's
yes.
taking to his school like a abandoned child, and so he starts with nothing, and he built a house, he built a school, he just grew vegetables, and so
he gave an example of a completely sustainable environment, which also contributes to the local people.
He helps the people, and he's saving 200 children, and he can feed them, and so it means if this man can do it in a very small area, he can do it in other country. It's just the government doesn't choose to help.
To invest in things like that.
Okay, then from Nepal, what kinds of things should import in other countries?
What should Nepal export?
From Nepal, yeah.
I think they export a lot of high-value products, such as silks and pashminas, as well as low commodities like salt. So I think they export a lot, and they also import a lot of things that are cheaper, perhaps, from India, because it's much cheaper to buy from India than it is to produce themselves. So it's more reducing the amount that they import, and perhaps also export, and keep Nepalese commodities for the Nepalese people.
Export and imports, yes, Nepal can do.
Yes. Perhaps to reduce slightly.
The waste.
And also, yes, because everything is packaged, especially from India, and they're bringing it into Nepal, and then it's all being thrown into landfills. If we reduce the distance that it has to travel, we can also reduce the packaging that it needs to be used.
And treat the waste also.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.